Ολοκληρώνουμε τη συζήτησή μας με την Shirin Neshat, ένας γοητευτικός λόγος που βγαίνει μέσα από την περιγραφή που μας κάνει για τα έργα της, τα οποία μπορείτε να δείτε στο Εθνικό Μουσείο Σύγχρονης Τέχνης, που στεγάζεται στο 2 Αθηνών στην Οδό Ριγίλης. Well, Shirin, let's finish with the girls and the characters, and then describe to us, please, the idea of the garden.
For me, first of all, I've been very interested in the subject of exile, and this garden in this film becomes a place of refuge, exile for these women who are all running away from their situation. And here in this very strange kind of magical orchard, they oddly feel safe, where they can sort of disconnect from the external world and only be in, sort of create a utopian community. But this orchard is really also resembles the Garden of Eden, where you are given a second chance. You are given a chance to have your dream come true. But what's interesting is that now that the women are cut off from the external world, they're facing their own inner world and their inner illness. As I said, some of them, their own narcissism, their own kind of issues come up. So the garden can be a utopia, but could also be punitive if in fact you sin, and then its magic, its spell is broken. So we really carefully constructed to build an idea of mystery around this garden. Once the women enter, you no longer see the walls, and these women live together to fix the house up. They really sort of, for the first time, they're complete. For me, it was a philosophical kind of an exercise of, you know, removing this woman. Once we leave the city, we no longer care about the history or Iran and all of that. We sort of indulge in this kind of question of, a very existential question of, what happens if we really disconnect from the outside world? Then what, you know? And here we see this woman interacting and sort of facing themselves in a way. The garden becomes a mirror for this woman to see their own demons and goods. And I think this is really interesting, and of course we explore that more in depth in the feature film that will be, you know, longer version of this. think that I see myself in every one of these characters. Every one of these women carry part of my dilemma as a human being, as a woman. The question of my insecurities about my body, my interest in activism and caring about politics, my desire to have a normal life, and my desire to be vain and be admired and be, you know, always kind of immortal in a way like Farrokh Liqai is. I think my obsession with children and having in love of children, and I think ultimately this is what I've learned over the time moving from visual arts to cinema, is that I've learned to build characters. Where my previous work, people became like statues, like sculptures, and now I've learned to really carve out the psychological and emotional depth of a human being. And I think this is ultimately the difference between cinema and art, in a way that you really focus on character and storytelling. And I've learned now to put me as a character into my work.
Which is very nice and very sentimental and very honest, I must say.
Yeah, I think, you know, I think the honesty comes in admitting our imperfections and our melancholy and tragedies as much as our strength. So I feel like with each one of these ladies, with their good and bads, I share with the public the reality about me, that I am so flawed as a human being, as a woman, but maybe that's not so bad.
Okay. I really thank you so much for this confessional situation that we created here together, I suppose, and hope see you again some other time.
Thank you for having me.
Λοιπόν, να πάτε να δείτε την έκθεση της Shirin Neshat στο Εθνικό Μουσείο Σχολής Τέχνης, που τώρα στεγάζεται στο 2 Αθηνών, στην οδό Ριγίλης. Η έκθεση με τις 5 βίντεο προβολές, γυναίκες χωρίς άνδρες, θα διαρκέσει ως το τέλος Μαΐου. Το έργο όμως Turbulent, με το υπέροχο τραγούδι, μπορείτε να το χαρείτε και ως το τέλος Αυγούστου. Είναι μια εξαιρετική εμπειρία, διαθέστε λίγο χρόνο, θέλει περίπου μία μισή ώρα για να χαρείτε τα έργα, αλλά αξίζει τον κόπο. Πιστεύω να σας πείσαμε εξάλλου και μέσα από αυτή εδώ τη συζήτηση. Καλό βράδυ, ευχαριστούμε πολύ.